Alright, this news broke last night as the Miami Dolphins have named a new head coach, as they have chose former 49ers offensive coordinator Mike McDonald, who at his age is 38 years old, and we'll get to him in a minute. But it also suggests that Kellen Moore could be returning to the Dallas Cowboys as the head coach, as the offensive coordinator, excuse me, which would be good for the Cowboys. But there's two sides to this thing. Are we getting the first half of the season from Kellen Moore? If that's the case, yes, absolutely. If we're not, it gets a little dicey and see how it goes. For Mike McDaniel, there's a lot going on. Not the fact that he's young and creative. That's fine. He never called plays. And I tried to explain this to a lot of guys. He never called the plays. And that was the whole issue with Eric Bieniemy, was teams have felt he doesn't call the plays. Andy Reid calls the plays. In fact, if I can find it here, hang on a second. Where is it? Hang on. Well, anyway, it's not important, but the point of the matter is, when you hire a coach who doesn't call the plays, and he's expecting to call the plays, that could be really good or really bad. And really bad as in a dumpster fire that could happen. I thought it was an interesting hire. Both interviews, again, lasted a long time, about 10 hours. So it was shocking to hear that. But the Miami Dolphins feel like they found their man in Mike McDaniel. The Saints have interest in Eric Bieniemy as the new head coach. Now, I think this would be a good hire. I would want to see what he would do with Taysom Hill, because you're not going to cut Taysom Hill. It's too expensive. But I would want to see what he would do. I think this would be very interesting to see what he could do with Taysom Hill, and if they decide to go in a different direction at quarterback altogether. I would love to see what they do. The Jacksonville Jaguars have named their new head coach. It's Doug Pederson. Doug Pederson has success with organizations like this. The problem is, can he work with Trent Baalke? The answer is yes. Then okay. If he can't, we're in trouble. The Colts are hiring Gus Bradley as their defensive coordinator replacement. He is taking over for Matt Eberflus. Decently good hire, I guess. Again, if you're against the Chiefs, not really, but decent enough hire, I think. Anthony Lynn, the 49ers hired Anthony Lynn as their assistant head coach. Interesting. I'm surprised he still gets a head coach, an assistant job. He wasn't good last year as the offensive coordinator for the Lions in the years before, and he was the head coach for the Chargers. But it's interesting he keeps finding jobs in the NFL. The Raiders hired Giants' Patrick Graham as their defensive replacement. Obviously, Gus Bradley leaving to the Colts. They had a vacancy. Here comes Graham as their defensive assistant, as their defensive coordinator. Packers in talks with Rich Bisaccia for a special teams role. To me, he should be a head coach. It's not that hard. If you're the Texans, or the Saints, or whoever, pick up the phone and start talking to him about a head coaching position. That's what you should do. He deserves to be a head coach. It's not that hard to see. The Giants have 4 interviews this week, for their defensive coordinator position, including Wink Martindale. To me, Wink Martindale would be the best coach you can take in this situation. So that's what I'd do if I was the Giants. The Bears hired Richard Hightower as their special teams coordinator. Way to boost that Bears staff, Matt Eberflus. I think this is a great hire, looking what the 49ers were able to do against the Green Bay Packers in the NFC divisional round. The Steelers to promote Taylor Austin to their defensive coordinator position. Not a shocking move. It sounded like this was the direction they were going to go. They end up going this way, but it actually is good for the Cowboys in terms of that is getting narrowed down to where is now Joe Witt going to go. Seattle's still open, so that could easily happen, but he also could return to Dallas. So the more positions that get hired as the defensive coordinator, the better off Joe Witt is staying in Dallas. But I think this is a good hire. Smart, keep the guy in the same organization. Just continue to do this. This will help your team move along, and it keeps the trust in Pittsburgh with using a Pittsburgh guy.